The greatest thing about Citizens Inn is how flexible and adaptable we are. It's a culture. It's the way we've operated since our founder, Mary Jane Lee, started the place. I mean, it started from a very simple idea. There's a neighbor in trouble, we're going to help them.
Back probably around 2001, the same week that I split up with my daughter's father, I found out we were being evicted. She was about 5 or so. We were kind of couch surfing and bouncing place to place. I was in the shelter on Holton Street for 5 months and a week, not that anyone was counting. We, from time to time, had to use the food pantry. I was lucky. We had enough. I wasn't mentally ill. I wasn't a drug addict. All the stigmas that homelessness encompasses, I was none of those. I made a poor choice with a life partner, and that's where I ended up.
You know, when we see the folks needing our services, you see a lot of various challenges. It's not always as cut and dry as people think. It can be an income challenge. It can also be a health-related issue.
I got diagnosed with a myeloproliferative neoplasm, and it's blood cancer. 3 months before COVID was announced, I started chemo. So having the diagnosis and then going on chemo and then having COVID hit shattered me. When they were delivering my box, Jean and Bob, the joy that I felt, like, it was so unbelievable. It was the only connection to the outside world that I had for a year. If I didn't have this, I don't know what I would have done.
So I was very happy that Lauren agreed to be interviewed, because I think that her situation was one that you don't often think about. You get sick, you have little support or means to get what you need just to survive. So Lauren reached out looking for some assistance with food, because it wasn't safe for her to go out. We are so fortunate that we were able to ramp up and meet that need.
I started running the home delivery program, and we'll go from 60 to 100 boxes a week during the peak of COVID. So when we got the request from Lauren, it touches you, right? Because you want to make sure she's getting the right food, make sure she's taken care of. And that's what Haven for Hunger is about, right? It's working as a team to provide whatever we can for our clients.
It is a family. They know that they're not alone, and that builds a culture of respect.
I try to instill in my children to give back and to treat people like you would want to be treated, and do something for somebody else just like you would expect it to be done for you. Helping out and volunteering and donating items and things like that, helping serve dinners, and that's all great stuff. But none of that is possible without funding. The money is needed, and it goes a long way.
Without philanthropy and donations, the programming wouldn't exist. You know, it would be a roof over your head, food on the table, household supplies, but there wouldn't be programming in place to help build family bonds, really connect parents with children to help break the patterns of instabilities.
We're currently more than halfway through our Into Opportunity comprehensive campaign we launched, and the Resource Center was one of the key goals of that. There's also a renovation of a shelter property that we really need to engage community in supporting. All of our programming that we do in the shelter and the existing programming here, the pantry, the meals program, all of that is part of the campaign, and we just need to make sure that folks realize that the needs have grown so much over the last several years. We really need that support right now in order to both meet the campaign goals, but also meet the increased demand brought on by COVID-19.
I mean, being in that situation is not easy for anybody, but they made it as easy and friendly and welcoming as they possibly could. I mean, I would have never gone back to college. I now have an associate's degree. I know that my 25-year-old is so much better off for having gone through the shelter. She had no idea that it was a good thing, a bad thing. It was her home.
This whole process that your brain goes through, from being embarrassed to being shamed to thinking, do I deserve this?
Right.
Am I taking away from other people? And all of that sort of thing kind of happens. And going through chemo and staying home for a year and having a food box, and the humbleness of how kind these people are that are delivering and doing all this thing, it changed me profoundly to the point where I don't care what people think about me anymore. I don't care. I'm not full of shame. I'm not embarrassed. I needed it. It wasn't my fault. It happened. That changed me for life. It changed who I am as a person. I can honestly say that.